Okay, next up we want to actually set up some transactional email on our production server. So, because right now, um, we have this all set up locally, but I'm just looking in my console for the actual email. And obviously that's not going to work in the real world. We need to actually have a service send these emails out. So what we can do is using Heroku, we're able to configure an add-on. They have a lot of different services. So I'm going to go in here and search for SendGrid. And I'm going to use the starter free. And this will go ahead and provision an account with SendGrid and sort of set everything up behind the scenes. So let's see here. And what that should do is it'll add some configuration variables in here for SendGrid. But that should get everything set up. So the next thing we need to do is actually go ahead and add the SendGrid Ruby gem right here. So I'm actually going to stop my server first, close out of this, and do bundle add SendGrid Ruby. And we'll wait for that to install. Once that installs, you want to open up your production config file and look for the area where we added this this action mailer setting. And within there, what we want to do is actually go ahead and paste this configuration that will connect us with SendGrid. So right below there. And this will be stored on Heroku for us, but we want to go ahead and take the URL options and add it to our domain here. And that should be everything we need. I also created a Rails byte that does this, and Rails bytes, this is an application where people can go ahead and add different scripts for Rails applications that just take care of configuring your app. So an example would be configuring SendGrid. So this script that I created just goes ahead and does what we did automatically for you. So that's one way to do it. There's also a whole bunch of other templates we can do in here, but it's just another alternative. So I'm going to go in here and run git status, then I'm going to add these and finally commit them. And I'm just going to say configure SendGrid, and we're going to go ahead and push these up to our repo. So once we're back in our repo, we can actually go ahead and merge this because this is everything we need to get started. So I'm going to say configure, devise, and SendGrid, and we're going to merge into master. And I'm going to go ahead and create a pull request for this. And our continuous integration is going to have to pass before we can merge this in, so I'm going to wait for that to pass. Okay, so it looks like our test suite passed, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and squash and merge these into one commit. And actually each one of these represents an individual commit message that I made throughout this. I'm just going to go ahead and format that. But I like to just squash it down into one commit, and then these individual commits work as good context. So we'll go ahead and merge that. Let's delete this branch. And then we just need to wait for this to get successfully merged into master. And then once it passes continuous integration, it will automatically get pushed up to Heroku. And then we can make sure that everything's working. Okay, so our build passed, and that's because continuous integration allowed it to automatically deploy. And so now let's go to application and let's see if we can create an account. So I'm going to use my real email address, and I'm going to set a password here. And then we'll do sign up. Ooh, okay, so we ran into an error. So let's see what's going on here. One thing I do notice is when I try to go to my SendGrid account that was created through Heroku, I'm not able to get to the page, which seems strange to me. So I'm wondering if there's an issue connecting with SendGrid and Heroku right now, and if my account hasn't been completely provisioned. So I'm going to leave the video off here and give this some more time, and hopefully this will be resolved.